trumpeter author Muneer Nasser, coming to you to bring you jazz notes, my reflections of hearing and experiencing the best in live jazz. Well, I think I'll begin this episode by talking about the shootout on 11th Street. On January 15th, 1979 at 8:30, my father produced this legendary gathering of what he considered to be the fastest tenors in music. That's what the flyer says. He, along with the late great Kobe Narita, organized this tenor summit at the 11th Street music settlement. It's on the east side. So he came and got us from Long Island. We were living in Hempstead, me and my brother Umar. He took us to the venue, and I remember running to the piano and playing it. He said, wait. Don't touch that piano. We have a master coming to play that, and I don't want no one touching that piano before he gets here, unless it's a musician tuning their instrument. I said, okay. Stored that one away. And so I'm going to tell you who the pianist is in a little while. And when he played, within the first 10 seconds of him playing, what he said I knew wasn't just some rhetorical statement. Okay, the shootout on 11th Street. The five tenors were a young Ricky Ford, who was 24 at this time. And my father said, yeah, I tried to take it easy on him. I stored that away. I didn't know what he meant when he said that. We're going to come to why he said that. Ricky Ford on tenor, as well as Frank West, Sal Nistico, Harold Vick, and George Coleman. The trio consisted of the one and only Tommy Flanagan on piano, Jamil Nasser on bass, and Ray Mosca on drums. And believe me, they were swinging that night. Now, the good news is the performance was taped. The bad news is only half of it was taped. Unfortunately, the recording engineer did not press record, and he missed the first half of this event. Each of them played two tunes up front before the finale. The finale was a great, exciting, explosive version of I Remember April, where they exchanged eights and twos, and it just culminates in them just playing together, just going at it, And each of them played two or three choruses, listen, young musicians, by themselves, where the rhythm section dropped out. And Ricky Ford didn't have to do that. He was the younger cat. So that's why he said he was taking it easy. I didn't know what he was talking about. It took me many years later to decipher what he meant by that. All of them had to play three or four choruses by themselves, and they did it masterfully. You didn't even really miss the rhythm section. And so this was a very exciting event. And my father considered himself a musical chemist, because we've seen this replicated in some other festivals, not to the level of success, meaning the chemistry was not there. They had the talent and they had the names together, but he prided himself on putting together musicians that were able to function together and complement each other, and these guys definitely did that. And so I hope to make this recording available, because it's definitely a professional recording, and it's sure to add to the canon of literature of the tenor saxophone. Another point I want to make, a lot of times it's popular today to say it's not, music is not about competition. Don't believe that. It's not true. Going back to Prez, Lester Young, and Coleman Hawkins, these cats went at it in Kansas City. They had jam sessions that went 3 nights, shirts off, people being waken up out of the bed. And this particular group of musicians, they come from that kind of school where if you thought you could play, you had to outblow somebody to prove your status. And so it was a good thing, because the musicians were able to push themselves to another level, unlike just playing with your own group, where you don't have that extra added stimulation of competition. And these guys came to play, and they were serious. If you could just be backstage at one of these events just to see the level of seriousness that pervades backstage before they play. So I don't want to stay on my soapbox too long, but you could visit us at www.jamilsnasser.com and www.muneernassermusic. We hope to bring you more spirited performances and information. Please support us and visit us, and stay tuned as I present more of this information. Just wanted to say finally, there's a drummer, Eric Allen, great drummer that played with Ross Rooney. He lives in Poland. When he read this book, Upright Bass, The Musical Life and Legacy of Muneer Nasser, he said, "Thank you." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I lived in New York during that period, and I thought it was an important historical period. But when I read your book, I knew it was, because I remember a lot of those venues and names, and I just never seen it codified in a book. So I'm trying to do my part to make this information available, the contemporary history of jazz over the last 50 years. This was from 1979. That's almost 50 years ago, but I remember it like it is yesterday, and I hope to make it available to you so you could listen to it and hear it. Thank you very much, and please stay tuned for more information."